Hello and welcome to Soul Love with Kimness. I am Kim van der Zande, your host, and I'm super excited to share another episode of Soul Love with you, where we share inspirational and empowering stories from the heart. We talk about the beauty and the shadows as both are part of the Ascension journey, to remind you that you are powerful, you are magical, and to have trust in what you feel to be true deep within. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Before we start the next Soul Love conversation, I want to invite you to check out my amazing book, Activating the Flower of Love, a sacred guide for manifesting your deepest desires and highest calling. This sacred book, filled with powerful tools and activations, will guide you to open your heart to the beauty and wisdom within you, empowering you to create the life you deeply desire from the foundation of love. You can find Activating the Flower of Love in all the major online and offline bookstores in ebook or paperback, or you can check it out through my website, kimness.nl, where you can also discover the different ways of working with me and the latest updates on new starting programs. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Welcome everyone to a new episode of Soul Love, and today I have the honor to share a sacred conversation with Raquel Spencer, and I'm very excited to join you in this conversation and all of you, and to share your empowering voice with our audience and everyone tuning in. So I welcome you within this sacred space.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here. Hello, everyone.
It's really a gift. And you're tuning in from the United States, from Las Vegas, and I'm from the Netherlands. So I love how in this moment technology combines us together. We get to share this conversation. And maybe to start the energy and this spark, I want to invite you, because you went on a huge awakening journey, an ascension journey, and there have been many powerful moments. But what has been like your biggest shift in awareness over the last couple of years, and maybe also the acceleration that you experienced, and in that way, the embodiment?
There's a lot, and I'm always in awe. This journey of awakening is so much more than I think we even thought.
Yes.
I've been on this journey for a very long time. I started over 40 years ago and have been working in the fields and in consciousness all that time, longer than you've been alive, my dear. And there's been so many ahas along the way, so many realizations. But I think what's really in the last couple of years been the most aha, the total physical embodiment that is required. It is a holistic ascension.
Yes.
And it's really interesting because as we go through this process, and for many years, many years, right? I've been on the forefront for a decade plus and in the fields for 40 plus. And it's been an interesting ride in the spiritual genre, right? Of what people thought being spiritual was, I don't even consider myself spiritual anymore. It's all about the ascension, and spiritual is kind of an old term almost at this point, because it's all about actually the embodiment and walking through. You can't pick and choose what you want to focus on. You can't pick and choose, oh, I really like this section of spirituality, so I think I'll play there for a while. It is a total holistic, full-on ascension. And I think the realization of that over the last several years has really been one that's been eye-opening. Even for me, I've always known, and it's funny because for decades, I have talked about the organs, the glands being originally multidimensional and that they were shifting. I've talked about the body going into crystalline. And I have to admit, for the first, back in 90 and the early 2000s, I thought that was metaphoric, right?
Yes.
And now the realization that it is not metaphoric at all, that
No.
it is truly an embodiment at this level of consciousness.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really been the biggest, I've been saying it. And I
Hmm.
find that I say things that I'll bring things through. And then it takes a while for it to even the comprehension
Yeah.
of what it really means,
Mhm.
right? To
Yes.
actually lock in. And I'm laughing. I'm sure I still don't even have a full awareness of it yet. And yet I know it's so much more than I ever
Mhm.
really thought it was going to be. So
Yes.
it's a just beautiful um continuous aha of
Mhm.
what really stepping in
Yeah.
to the full embodiment of our original quantum organic angelic self is, and
Mhm.
what that really means, and to embody and walk it on this planet.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
So,
that. Yes. There are so
and
many. Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh no, like there are so many beautiful things in what you shared because it's really it's also I love as you shared like it's the openness. You're open for whatever way it's revealing itself. And that's also constantly letting go even of the all the visions of
Yeah.
spirituality, of ascension. And you constantly need to let go of the shield, like where you almost think, okay, now I know how it's going to be, or now I know how the next level is going to look like. But when the next level is there, you're already being asked to let go of many, many layers before.
It
Yeah.
is a continuous surrender.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's a beautiful.
And I wish we would come up for another word than surrender, because so many
Mm.
people have a egoic mindset belief system
Yeah.
around that word,
Yes.
making it, thinking it's weak, or I give up, or anything
Mm.
like that, right? Which is, we are giving up control from our lower egoic mind,
Yeah.
but it is a constant state
Mm.
of letting go of what you thought, because this doesn't have anything to do with what we've thought at
No.
all.
No.
And it cannot be experienced through the brain in the way that the brain operates at this particular time. So it has to be experiential through
Hmm.
a high heart experience, right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing with your book, love, right? Love, love, love.
Yes.
And I think even that concept
Hmm.
continues
Yeah.
to be shattered from
Yes.
the old paradigm of what we thought love was.
It's ever evolving. I always feel myself as an ever student of life and love because each time I think I have a vision or I have an idea, it opens up itself already into a new dimension, and I'm just inspired and yeah, it's amazing. But I think that's the paradigm shift that needs to happen. Surrender is one of the most profound acts we can do, but it is the most powerful, but also the most difficult one because we need to let go of all the control and all the ideas our mind has, and to truly surrender to love and to God, source, infinite oneness, the field that is ever growing and expand. So it's almost like we're constantly being invited to every day, every moment, stretch beyond our comfort zone to go into the void where we don't know where we're being leaded. And that again, and that's what I love, like it's truly in this embodiment that we
Yeah,
feel the braveness of, okay, I can handle that. I know that I am bigger than this vessel than my mind thinks I am, and from that space we're brave enough to leap into that
right.
unknown space.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's interesting because I don't think, well, and I may be wrong, but I think there's a lot of people that don't understand how much we overlay
Mhm.
with the collective consciousness.
Yeah.
We are literally overlaying on the planet's magnetics.
Mhm.
And the planet, the planet's magnetics, can let me
Yes.
spit that out,
Yes.
uh, are extremely distorted.
Yeah.
They are not organic in any nature or form, right? The mass consciousness and the grids that we've been operating on for our entire experience
Mhm.
have been inverted, have been ones that keep us in that state of fear and chaos and the lower frequencies.
Yes.
So it's not even sheer will that you have to, oh, no, I'm not going to do this. It is literally about understanding how to disconnect
Mm-hmm.
yourself from the inverted magnetics that have played out on this planet since before this civilization, long before this civilization, and understanding that as she unlocks, as we continue to um, unravel the inverted paradigm, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very real.
Yeah.
It's very tangible,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And we've all been born into it. This is what we agreed to come into and unwrite it all, unravel it all. That's what all of us, and I call us light workers. That's a term that's kind of dated, but
Yeah.
we all came in to specifically unravel the inverted that we've been living in. And so it's not just about, oh, I'm going to have willpower, or I'm going to
Yes.
be, I'm just going to decide. It is a process that has to be um, gone through to
Mm-hmm.
unlock yourself
Yeah.
from that inverted magnetic and the inverted matrix, and actually be able to start tapping into what the planetary body, what Earth, Terra, Gaia, Aurora, all those different levels, but what Earth herself is actually going through. She's leading the way
Mm.
for the ascension, right? So as she continues to unlock from all of the inverted magnetics
Mm.
and holograms and templates and
Yes.
all of that, it then provides the ability for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so people, I really want them to understand that it's not, I'm not strong enough. I'm not,
Yeah.
I have to, how come I can't get out of my head and out of my mind and out of these belief systems? It's because it's been systematically programmed that way.
Yeah.
And so having that understanding that it's not just you being strong enough,
Mm-hmm.
that there is literally uh, mind control programs and that kind of thing in the fields
Mm-hmm.
that once you unlock from those, make it infinitely easier to not be in those lower states and caught up in those lower, what I call mass consciousness grids
Yeah.
that most of humanity experiences. And
Yeah.
so I just, I hope that people understand that, because we tend to, and we're programmed
Mm-hmm.
to beat
Yes.
ourselves up. Oh, how
Yeah.
come I can't, how come I just can't be, consciously aware and in my heart all the time? Because we've got a lot going against us if
Yes.
you're not aware to unravel from all of that.
Yeah.
And
And I
so,
love that you're bringing it up because it starts with creating awareness, but then also having compassion for yourself as you're going into that. Because if you can have compassion for yourself, you're not going into blame, shame, judgment, but you're staying in this open space. And from this open space, you're able to tap into a different frequency than,
and
yeah.
most people don't understand how
Mm-hmm.
much of that is literally energetics that are playing out on the planet that they're hooked into because they're alive and breathing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I mean, it's been in the fields, it's specifically been that way
Mm-hmm.
as we agreed to play the game of separation
Yeah.
and duality, right? Several centuries ago,
Mm-hmm.
eons ago. And so it's something we agreed to. And then understanding that it is still playing out quite strongly. And until you recognize how interwoven your fields, your nervous system
Mm-hmm.
is to the collective consciousness and grids that are actually deliberately trying to keep us from stepping into our own empowerment,
Mm-hmm.
you can then begin the process of unlocking yourself
Yeah.
from those particular experiences, magnetics, grids. And they're unfortunately, it's really hard to be um, there's no fear, but
Mm-hmm.
without knowing, a lot of people want to just go, oh, no, 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 I don't want to know that stuff. I don't want to think that that's real.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, your empowerment comes from knowing
Yeah.
it's real and then how to navigate without fear out of the strongholds, right?
Yes.
So for, decades, it's been the light and lovers, right? And then
Yeah.
those that going, oh, there's something else going on here that's not so pretty, right? And
Yeah.
you have to walk that line. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to walk that line, you know, 70% in the light and love and 30 in the, I know that this is kind of messed up and we've got to unravel it, right? We've got to take it apart so that we can actually make this ascension happen. And I call those of us who are here the ground crew,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? We're the ones that said yes to come into a body and
Mm-hmm.
actually walk through this complete and total embodiment,
Yeah.
right? And that's not just your live stream here or
Mm-hmm.
your live streams on this planet from past or future. And it's not even live streams just in this particular galaxy, right? Or solar system. This
Yeah.
is a total embodiment. We are calling back and clearing, bringing back to 0 point every aspect, every live stream
Mm-hmm.
um, throughout this universe and beyond. We'll take the universe just right now for now because
Yes.
that's big enough, right?
Yeah.
But you have to understand you have to bring all aspects and there's no judgment. This
Mm-hmm.
is the biggest thing that I always like to, the way I always describe it for people, because
Yeah.
if you are a light worker on this planet right now,
Mm-hmm.
there's a 95% chance, and if you think you're the 5%, think again, a 95% chance that you have played some pretty big roles
Mm-hmm.
in what we call the quantum dark,
Yeah.
in those bodysuits and life races that really got into um, the darker side of things,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we planned it that way. We would
Mm-hmm.
have never allowed the highest levels of dark to not be those souls that are the highest levels of light, so that when we got to this point, those aspects of ourselves wouldn't wake up and
Mm-hmm.
come back into a 0 point
Yeah.
to be able to ascend. So I always put it as character roles in a movie,
Mm-hmm.
right? Here
Yeah.
we are. We've got this beautiful playing field that we set up to understand what would it be like to be completely separate from source,
Mm-hmm.
not remember at all that we have anything to do with source energy,
Mm-hmm.
and completely forget who we are,
Yeah.
and then come in and say, "Oh, I want to play that role. Ooh, that looks fun." It's like being Brad Pitt or Julia.
Mm-hmm.
Can't think of her name. Julie. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a really good actress right now. Um, but going,
Yeah.
oh, that role looks like a lot of. Ooh, I'd like to play that villain. Ooh, I'd like to play that hero. Right? All the
Mm-hmm.
different roles that we took on,
Yeah.
and then took on and went deep. It's like the actors that, or even an undercover cop
Mm. Yeah.
goes so deep they forget that it
Mm.
was just a character role. It was just the part they were playing. And those are the aspects that we have to awaken,
Yes.
acknowledge, and love back into
Mm-hmm.
wholeness. without judgment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and
And
that's
so,
the whole piece where we're all in right now. And it's also true. That is what I love in your story. And that's why the embodiment is so important, because through the embodiment, we're calling all of our aspects back, but also all of our gifts and talents to witness these elements of ourselves with love. And that's why love is so important, because love, the true love, not the love, the mind things, but true love is
right.
unconditional. And that's what I notice with my own journey sometimes as well, that sometimes I think, oh, in the embodiment of more love, before I thought, oh, my life will always be more magical. No, sometimes I am being invited to witness the most dark and deep parts of myself, the most wounded parts, but it's because I'm ready, because I'm embodying this love, that these parts say, okay, I feel safe enough again to harmonize. And that's how, as we bring that together in ourselves, we support that field. But I love, like, because truly the embodiment, coming back to your story, to the beginning of your story again, like it supports you also to listen to this inner knowing, where before we were always like, okay, the answer is out there, or I need to figure the answer out. But then you're also in your mind, and the embodiment makes sure that whatever is happening around you, you will feel with this powerful tool that we have.
Well, and
What is
it's
your truth?
I always say your body, and I got this from a colleague. Uh,
Mm.
your body is your quantum map.
Yeah, I love that. Yes.
So if all of a sudden your left toe starts to hurt for
Hmm.
no reason,
Yeah.
right? Or all of a sudden you're having hip pains, or
Mm.
all of a sudden you can't bend your finger, or all of a sudden, when you have your body is your best vehicle,
Yes.
right, for this. When you have those dis-ease in
Yeah.
the body, it's a clue.
Hmm.
And it's a clue that if you approach it appropriately,
Yeah.
can allow you to call back
Hmm.
aspects of yourself that you have no awareness of,
Yeah.
right? If the pain in the toe might be a aspect of you in a distant galaxy with a bodysuit you've never heard of,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
That is ready to come back into wholeness. And the only way your humanness will be able to even begin to tap into that is going, let me dive into my toe.
Yes.
Let
Yeah.
me see what that is. And then to expand on that and not have um, limitations
Hmm.
on what you think that may be,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Because, another thing is it's like maybe 8 to 10% of the other species in this universe look anything like us. And
Hmm.
if you want to really think about it, almost all of them, I don't know if all of them did, probably 80% all sent a representative on
Hmm.
planet Earth. So we think about all the spiders and the insects.
Hmm.
There are massive races, and they're not this big. They're 50
Hmm.
feet, right? We
Yeah.
have all of the life in the oceans.
Hmm.
That's all representative of other species, right? We have all of the animal kingdom. We have all of the birds and the avians, right? And so when you stop to think about that, going, wow, I have thousands and thousands of aspects of myself
Yeah.
playing out.
Yeah.
And this human body on this planet is where we've chosen
Hmm.
to really embody and call back all of those aspects back into 0 point and embody the totality
Yeah.
of who we are.
Yeah.
So when you can start to think about that and then realize, wow, it's not just, the Octurians who, everybody thinks looks human.
Hmm.
Turians aren't human.
Hmm.
They don't look like a human,
No.
right? Um, so then it really starts to expand you and
Mm-hmm.
allow you to be open
Yeah.
to stepping outside of the box.
Yeah.
And the box has been pretty strong,
Yes.
even in the spiritual communities,
Mm-hmm.
right? They want to talk about, I think really the only, the whales and the dolphins and the turtles
Mm-hmm.
are really the only,
Yeah.
that people open up to, or the mermaids, right? Well,
Yeah.
what about all the other?
Mm-hmm.
So it helps to expand your mind and allow yourself to be open
Yeah.
to a much different understanding of the totality of who you are
Mm-hmm.
as a fractal of source,
Yeah.
right? And that it is a total and complete embodiment that we are stepping through and into right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in truth, we've really just begun
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because we've only in the last few years been able to unlock enough of the really heavy stuff that
Mm-hmm.
we could begin to even access,
Yeah.
right? We were like in a quarantine here on Earth, no access, right?
Yeah.
And many, 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 many were hooked into what I refer to as the false white light.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking that they were tapping into archangels or councils of light that really aren't what they think they are. So there's a real shift and a real awakening that is getting ready to happen for many, many light workers. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is why I just want to kind of bring it up. It is a total embodiment, and it's not the humanoid perfect
Mm-hmm.
that everybody's kind of been taught or bought into. There
Yeah.
is a full spectrum, and each is beautiful and source energy on
Mm-hmm.
its own. Whether we think of it as, we tend to be very judgy down here
Mm-hmm. Yes.
in the
Yes.
human form, right? Ooh, that doesn't look like us. That must
Yeah.
be evil, right? Or evil is evil, and from the human emotional body, because we have the most advanced
Mm-hmm.
emotional body, right?
Yeah.
It takes a lot to move past and be in compassion and love for a aspect of yourself that is ready to come back into 0 point
Mm-hmm.
from most human judgment would
Yeah.
be appalling,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
But if
So
you're in the judgment, you're still in this separation vision, and it's a whole process to come out of that, and that's a lifelong lesson. But I think it shines a whole different light for every one of us on our mission and our purpose, or we like it's really this embodiment and coming back to zero and being the contribution by embracing everything that comes on your path with love and not
and
just
really, and
openness.
not judgment, and really embodying it, really being, and as you do that, of course,
Mm-hmm.
as you learn to embody
Yeah.
all aspects of yourself without the judgment,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to be non-judgmental and hold the fields, right? The more of us who can actually step into that level of consciousness
Yeah.
without the judgment, without the and hold the space
Mm-hmm.
and hold the frequency again, the more that do that, the easier we're building that bridge. We are the pathway.
Yeah.
We are the path,
Yes.
right?
I love that. Yeah. That we are.
So
Yeah.
it's an exciting time to be alive, but it's definitely we're cracking the proverbial egg to
Mm,
what a
yeah.
lot of people thought was spirituality or new age, right? To really
Yes.
get down into, oh no, this is the journey.
Yeah.
This is the real journey.
Hmm. Yes.
And you don't have to spend, years in therapy about your shadow self,
Mm,
right? that's not the journey either, right?
No.
It is, and the shadow self beyond just, so many spend so much time working on just this lifetime.
Mhm.
And until you start really embodying, clearing, and bringing back to 0 point other aspects of yourself that you may not have any conscious awareness of yet,
Yeah.
those shadows in this expression may
Mhm.
not ever clear because that's not the origin. That's not where it's coming from.
No. And then you can keep going into this cycle, and you think, what am I doing wrong? But you're not doing anything wrong. It is
Not
inviting
do
you to
anything wrong. You
expand.
have to expand to understand that, oh, that might be coming from a live stream when you were an Altarfin, right? Or a live stream when you
Yeah.
just never know,
No.
right? So it's an interesting journey
Yeah.
to be
But
able
I
to.
think it's important to create awareness around this, especially like the spiritual part. But still, so sometimes people ask that to me as well. Like, what is it you're doing? And that's like, I'm just being me.
Oh,
I'm following my heart, and in that, I hope to inspire others to do the same. But I don't label it as spirituality because I also want to explain it to my neighbor. And
right,
it's not spirituality.
right.
It's just living
The
your
minute
life.
you
Be
say
happy.
that, the
Yes.
minute you say that, it triggers,
Yes,
right? The
yes, it
minute
is. Yeah,
it's
but in
it's
the end,
you've
it's
got.
you being you and just saying yes to life and all that life gives you. Because that's also what I loved as you shared. As Mother Earth comes more to her pure essence, she also activates us, and that also means triggering our illusions, our layers that are not our truest self. And then we can constantly think like, oh, I'm in this ride, and why am I constantly having all these triggers happening, and what am I doing wrong? No, you're not doing anything wrong because
You're
that's what
doing it right.
you're
If
doing
you're
it
getting
right. Yes.
triggered, you're doing it right.
But that's the
Yeah.
old paradigm shift. And I think especially, and that's why I, in the essence, also started this podcast sometimes, because I found that sometimes the message was when you're on this path of love, it always looks like fairy tales and unicorns. No, sometimes it's very messy. And you think, why am I here? But you're doing it right. And that's why I wanted to create this podcast and share this message, because we're all on this journey. And it is because you're willing.
Yeah. And
Yes.
it is, that is such a false nomenclature in the
Yeah.
spiritual, right?
Yeah.
Spiritual people leading out there, and then the rest of them going, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I, 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 why can't, And that's not it at all.
It creates separation and a lack of or a feeling of failure. But you're not like that. That's why everyone tuning in, you're not failing. You're doing the most powerful work. But it's a feeling, embracing, loving every part of you. So what have, because you've shared already so many gems. What has supported you, and how do you support others in untapping out of that field? And I know that's a whole, you probably can talk a lot about it, but like if you would have a couple of keys, how people can already support themselves to tap out of that field of mass consciousness and to come more closer to
Well,
themselves. And
I did offer a really easy, simple visual technique as a free gift
Mhm.
for
Okay.
anybody
Yes.
who wants that, because the magnetics of the planet are actually changing,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
That's very tangible. And
Yeah.
so this is just a really simple daily visual understanding of consciously unplugging from the mass consciousness, which is running the lower frequencies and the chaos and the fear and and you know what? We live in this reality. You can't escape
Yeah.
it unless you're, a monk in the Himalayas that never, right? And they
Yes.
even have Wi-Fi these days, right?
Yes.
So
It's
we
so
we're in
convenient.
it. We're in
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it takes it's like, it's just like brushing your teeth. You have to do it every day.
Yeah.
And it's a way to visually unplug consciously from the mass consciousness grids and all of the energy streams that are dedicated to keeping us
Mhm.
unconscious, right? And consciously tapping into the new tri-wave magnetics that are coming and
Mhm.
anchoring onto the planet. And
Yes.
so that's one of the ways that you
Mhm.
can begin to really shift, because you're unlocking all the way down your nervous system, all the way down your spine, right? And
Yeah.
so it because we are, our nervous system overlays the planet. Our
Mhm.
chakra system overlays on the planet. So if we can unplug from the old magnetics through the nervous system consciously,
Yes.
and then consciously tap into the higher tri-wave, that's what it's called,
Yeah.
frequencies that are anchoring to support us to move back into the organic. That goes a long way in your daily experience. But it's a daily practice as well. And I always tell people it's like brushing your teeth. You can't brush it once a week and think
Yeah.
it's gonna last,
But
right?
it's the whole ascension journey. Sometimes people think like, okay, now I can just do this quick fix, or I do this one
It's
course and then I'm set for life. No.
everything
Yes.
you do
Yeah.
affects everything.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
sneeze and you affect the totality,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
there really is no separation. We just, many still believe that I'm my own individual and what I do doesn't really matter. And so if I practice spirituality one day a week and then the rest just, it affects everything.
Yeah.
I am, we are all
Yes.
aspects of the whole. And so it really does make a difference. And that's not to scare anyone either, right?
No.
Um, oh, I'm not doing my work. We're literally here to be the bridge.
Yeah.
And so that embodiment, day in, day out, there's not, and right now, I mean, years ago, even 4 or 5 years ago, we had days to integrate the new downloads.
Yes.
Right now, you don't have
It's
any time.
no.
And it's
Yeah.
it's a constant. You have to be able to embody almost immediately
Yes.
and 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 actually step into the new frequencies. They're coming so fast.
Yeah.
So this particular technique will assist you in doing that.
We can
And then
share the link below if you have a link that I will share it below the video or audio. Yes. Yeah.
beautiful. But just to understand again that this is this is 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
And it is messy. And
Hmm.
it is a lot, our bodies changing from carbon to crystalline. It
Yeah.
is a lot with all of the photon light and all of the new solar codes coming in. It
Yeah.
is all about unlocking and really bringing in all of our aspects back to a 0 point. And so this isn't a part-time gig.
No. No.
It's a full-time gig. And I do a lot. You can always, go head out to my website. I do a lot to support
Yeah.
people to embody, to really be able to embody and be the living bridge.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And it truly comes back to being compassionate with yourself and embracing the journey and witnessing everything that is happening with love, and also understanding that when you get triggered or activated, or it's an opportunity for growth and you are being invited to step up in your next level. And I
And
love
it,
as yeah.
go ahead. And
Oh
it's
no.
always a mirror. It's
Yes.
always a mirror.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
always a mirror.
Yeah.
So when you get triggered,
Yeah.
what is that?
Yeah.
What part of me, right? It's always a mirror.
Yeah.
That's
And
always
that's
important.
again the true mission and the purpose, because when we're truly doing that, that's our contribution to the collective, to the field, like doing the meditation you shared in the morning, choosing to untap and tap into the tri-wave. That's already like, it's understanding that like there is also a vision of purpose and mission, and we need to earn money with it and whatever. No, it's like
Yeah,
it's
that's
being
such
in each and every
that's
moment, smiling to
yeah.
the guy at the grocery store, and I don't know what, or someone at the street, or untapping from this field and being the best version of ourselves, whatever way. And sometimes that looks very beautiful, and sometimes that looks very messy. But knowing that you're doing your best from this heart-centered space, and from that, it already beautifully shifts. And it's understanding, I think, the power we hold, instead of feeling like, okay, this is such a daunting task. No, feel the power and the potency we, each and every one of us, holds
We
to bring.
are all experts at
Yes.
this.
Yeah. Yes.
We are the team that has continually come in
Mm.
since about, gosh, actually even the early 40s.
Mm.
One of the biggest groups, one of the very first real Ascension team came in 1944,
Wow. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And then we've continued to have team members, right?
Hmm.
And we're still a very small percentage of the population,
Yeah.
still, right? But if you are here, if you are on the journey of understanding there's so much more going on, right?
Yeah.
You are part of the ground crew. And guess what? You're already a master at this.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of you came in to help unravel from all of the beautiful, beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful, incredible experience of separation we
Mhm.
all created.
Yeah.
You're here, chances are you were part of creating this deep dive,
Hmm.
right? At some level.
Yeah.
So we're all here helping to unlock it all,
Yeah.
and you're already a specialist.
Yeah.
You're all ready. And it's about you remembering and stepping into that. It's about you trusting that you're not lost, you're not alone, you're
Mhm.
not failing, you're not,
Yeah.
you're already a master.
Yeah.
And thank goodness you're here because we need all of us. It takes
Yes.
a massive village. It takes a lot of villages
Yeah.
to pull.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole concept of what we're doing is so vast beyond comprehension.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And you are an integral part of the whole.
Yeah. Yeah. We're truly pioneering on so many dimensions, and it's understanding that we're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we try to understand from our human perspective, and our ego tries to understand what is happening. Let it
And
go.
you can't. And
No,
you can't. You
no,
know,
no.
you just have to operate completely 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the very first techniques I ever brought through 20 years ago
Hmm.
was about dropping into your high heart, how to actually live from here, right? Actually coming out of here and into here and having this where your brain is,
Hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yes. But
This
that's
is
already such a
great.
paradigm shift for a big group
So
of.
many. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So I love that. Yeah. So many said thank you, and I also love that it's what for the mind to understand. I love also, like, I like to follow the Schumann resonance, and sometimes you see as the spikes come from the sun and everything, but it's just also a tangible way to see like how the earth is also evolving, how Mother Earth is raising her vibration, and also for me it almost feels like she's also breaking free from all these things that are no longer in alignment with her, but by that she's also influencing our field and inviting us. And it's for me each time when I feel like, okay, I'm slipping into something, and then I see the charts and I think, okay, this is just an activation of my life, but it can create compassion, just like we're looking into astrology chart or whatever. But so for everyone tuning in and you would like the mind for a little understanding, it's beautiful to see that there are these ways to support ourselves, because in the transition time from totally being in this multidimensional space, or shifting from our human perspective to more heart-centered living, it's sometimes beautiful to have these tools where you see, okay, and somehow we can then be. I think that's also interesting in this journey as on life, that sometimes when our mind can understand, we can suddenly be more compassionate, and in the end it's about fully being in this compassionate state. But that's a practice, and it's not
It
about
is a practice, and,
yeah.
and it does take, you a little bit, enough to understand, enough to surrender,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's that baby step, baby step, baby step
Yes.
until you go direct,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
the one thing that I also, as we just to plant the seed in
Mhm.
people's awareness, to recognize that everything in this reality has been distorted.
Mhm.
Ev- Everything.
Yeah.
So the totality of what we are stepping into and through,
Mhm.
to even realize our nature, the Fibonacci sequence, the way that nature grows, is also distorted,
Mhm.
right? So everything is going to shift for the better, but to recognize, oh, okay, this is really a very distorted reality that we are helping to break out of, break through, step beyond, and unravel. So there's really no looking at the past for answers.
No, yes. Yeah.
Even the wisest of the wise, right? There's so many that go back into ancient mystery schools or ancient teachings, thinking the ancient teachings are better. Everything here has been distorted. And so it is a journey of allowing those things to impact in whatever way they need, but then recognizing there's even distortion in that. And the only way through is from your own direct knowing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Coming back to the heart and embodiment of our
Because
0 point.
again, you are already a master.
Yeah.
It's about unlocking your body
Yes. Yeah.
and your lower mind so that you have direct connection and allow everything else that has been distorted in one way or another. Recognize that and recognize we're truly breaking out of this deep dive at all levels.
Yeah.
I just wanted to plant that. And Kim, it's been such a pleasure. So beautiful to have this conversation with you and to meet you for the first time face to face.
Yes, it
I
was.
do love the Netherlands. I've been there many times. So
Yes, thank
it's a
you.
pleasure to reconnect with someone there.
Yes, it was really amazing having you and sharing this sacred conversation. And I think for all of us, there's many to unpack and to unravel. And it's also understanding that with all of these conversations, so much more is coming through beyond the words and so much energy is being transmitted. So just unpack it in your own time and you can always revisit. And each time you do that, you will notice that you'll hear different things. And that's what I love about all of these conversations. Like they have so many different dimensions to unpack and to experience. So I invite you to feel in your body, in your cells, in every part of you, what this conversation did with you, as that is your truth, as that is your come back to this heart. So thank you, Raquel, for sharing this sacred conversation and sharing your light and your truth and your wisdom and consciously choosing this path of new and openness and anchoring even more of your unique codes here on earth. So, and everyone tuning in, thank you for joining us live. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next Soul Love podcast. So for now, sending you much love and till the next time. Bye. Thank you for joining this episode of Soul Love. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can find it below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Much love.